Yeah, myself, Dr. Premlata Chellappan, like from Amrita Vidyalayam Schools, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. Like this is the school which is run by Mata Amrita and the Mani Santu. And our schools, like we have schools pan India, and we stand for quality value-based education. That is the USP. I'm representing both Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. I'm Mrs. Amrita Thakur. I'm from Reliance School, Jamnagar. I attended Reliance Group. And this is the 97 in Catholic School with a strength of around 4,000 students.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nidhi Thapar. I head academics for the Ryan EduNation School. It's part of the larger Ryan group itself. So again, we have schools in Hyderabad, Pune, Bangalore, Pan India actually. The Ryan group, of course, is big. Yeah.
So, I'm Shailaja Rao and I run the Future Kids School in Hyderabad. I founded it in 1997. Rebel in school and a passionate teacher. And that drove me to start Future Kids, which is about going to be 29 years old now. And counting.
Hi, this is Sindhuri Reddy. I'm the founder of the Premier Academy. We're a very young school. We're 5 years old. We're just stepping into our 6th year. And our school is completely focused on getting children ready for life. The lowest focus is academics, the highest focus is life skills and experiences, and that's where we come in.
Hi everybody, I'm Varalakshmi, Director of Jubilee Hills Public School, a 39-year-old organization, and we have one more branch also in Rampalli, that is again a 10-year-old organization, and managing strength up to 5,000 students. Heading to Cambridge also, next year we'll be opening.
Maybe I'm the most odd one out in the group. So I'm Sri, I'm the Deputy Manager of Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham. So I'm serving as Deputy Manager from Coimbatore. So I manage all the back-end work and admissions work from the back-end of Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham for all the 10 university campuses that we have. And I didn't know ma'am was the moderator actually. She's also from part of our family. So we're happy to interact and bring a different perspective from university side also to the discussion.
I am Dr. Murali Krishna. Currently, I am looking after a couple of Chinmaya Vidyalaya schools in Hyderabad. Otherwise, my experience, you can take my experience from Narayana and Chaitanya. I was a vice chairman of Narayana for pretty many years. So, current IKS systems which we are introducing in our Chinmaya Vidyalaya. And then now my earlier corporate experience, probably I will be able to throw some in this back.
This is Seema Sheikh from Pragna Bodhini High School, Mumbai. It's a straight run school and it works for the first generation learners. And I'm working there since last 43 years.
Just.
Yeah. And in the same organization.
Wow.
In the same organization.
That's really great.
Yeah.
First time I'm in fact hearing such a long tenure.
Yeah.
I think I'm the last but not the least. I'm Dr. Satyashri Gupta. People call me as Dr. Shri. I'm the founder of Brilliant in Creative Studio. I have 2 decades of experience with double PhD, 7 diplomas and 5 PGs I have done. And I have been worked for Helsinki, Finland. And I was Mrs. International World nomination from Telangana.
Wow.
And I have served to Narayana Group, Sri Chaitanya Group, and many groups as an academic director. And I'm an author where I have written 27 books, authored 27 books, which are really working very good in mathematics and psychology across 17 countries. And now I'm working as a consultant because I have given my best part to the corporates and vexed up. Now I thought of doing my teacher trainings, and I have done nearly 9,000 plus teacher trainings. 50,000 plus teachers have got the certification from my end, and I'm a corporate trainer also. I go and do, now we are working with the AI intelligence for the teachers. It's an Astro. So where we are working on that particular part. Pleasure meeting you all. Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you all. I think how do we take this? Like I think what I issue with this
Of course, yeah. So we all are working
keep the ball rolling. You can keep the ball rolling.
See, our journey starts with a machine. It might be an alarm piece or it might be any kind of machine. It might be a music or something. Now the children are really equipped with a machine learning. So they are just making the teachers to understand, hey ma'am, I know more than this. Is it really a good sign? Whether the teachers are going to equipped with the machines and the students are going to get the trust of knowledge what they are going to get it from the machine. This is the main thing where we are going to work it out. But every educator, every person on the globe is going to welcome the artificial intelligence. But when it comes to the education sector, how the students are going to make it a trustworthy. What is the teacher, the learning and teaching process are going to be interlinked. The today's topic is going to be based on the same thing. Trust in the age of machine generated knowledge. Who is going to give this trustworthy? That's going to the main topic.
So I also side you because initially, if we go back, our times also, not too back, who was the creator of knowledge? You know, knowledge was created either by the teacher or you can say some library
Experts.
books, some cited sites which already we are knowing, credible. Now, look at the system which is happening. Now, are we the ones who are the sources of knowledge, or do they go to the library books? And whatever information they get, as you just mentioned, the moment you say this, the answer comes, we know this. So now there is a lot of issues which are arising as to who is actually the source of knowledge. And are they going to look at the teacher, or are they going to look at the AI, where the information from AI may come distorted? We will be discussing about it. So what happens to the teacher as knowledge, or the books as the knowledge? Who's going to read them? That's the biggest concern. Where are students also going to take all this false information and move around with it?
No, I think it's the look, knowledge is there.
Yes.
It's there at the fingertip, and we can't shy away from that fact. The point is, how do we, and especially when the trust factor is coming into this, now who is putting this knowledge on the portals? What is AI doing? Somebody like you and me has put that on the cloud, right? It's not created its own interpretations. Somebody has said, let's looking at the, give me the top 5 ways to teach. There are teachers who have put this information in. And what AI is doing is only assimilating that information and giving it back to us. Or even for a child, when we say a worksheet needs to be created, a child wants a worksheet on practice. Based on what has been fed in by teachers, by educators, by creators. That's there, and that's what we are doing. So the input is where the trust factor comes in. How truthfully has the input been given to the cloud-based
machine, right?
To the thing. So I think for me, that's the biggest trust thing. Let's verify where all that knowledge is being
Coming from.
assimilated. Right. And then the synthesis part of it is going to happen.
From orthodox tenets of teacher, textbook, and library. This is the component now where all our generations now got our education. Now, shift is already happening. You like it or not, shift is already happening. The current generation. As I said, a lot of information is right away available. But what is the restricted part of it? How much you want? How much is readily available, generated? Out of that, no. How do you exactly see age appropriate information? How do you separate it out? And who will guide you? I'll cite an experiment here. Recently, 300 group students and then no teachers, they were seated separately. And then students are asked whether they are using AI generated content in their regular activities. All of them have raised their hands. But when you pose the same question to the teacher community, none of them have said no confidently yes. Because they are not knowing the veracity of the information which is being generated. How that information is to be passed on to the student, because you are a teacher. You have an obligation to give right kind of information to the student. Student is already having a lot of information. Out of that, you have to sieve out and then suggest the student this is the proper information that he can use. Again, here age appropriate need comes. What generation, how a 5th standard student appropriate the information that's readily available, how he can use it for his own level of understanding as he's being trained over few classes. His knowledge is limited. He need to eliminate some information he need to have. All information he is unable to understand. So here some intervention is required. Second example, I would say here, this AI generated logistics and then now data is applied to some of the bail judgments in US. There, human element is not there. Entirely the information fed out of the previous judgments, whatever data that's there in the judicial system, that is given, that is applied when a judge is asked to decide upon a bail. The AI generated system is in favor of giving a bail to the plaintiff. But whereas judge, when he sees the information, it is emotional, and then now all related aspects now attached to it. Who is to be given bail? What is the nature of crime no he committed? How many dependents are there? Whether no sufficient income is generated for his living life and all that. When he sees with his human element, with a little bit of emotion, he is against giving a bail. So here, who is the better judge? An individual is a better judge, or here a teacher is a better judge, or the content is, however the content is coming to the rescue of a student in any matter. So here, we need to further discuss, after everybody puts in their kind of observations, we need to suggest how this information can be used in a more appropriate way for the betterment of the subject understanding or not. We can't totally do away with this. It is there in the system, it is going to be there. But how to use it? And without taking the wrong sides of it, how we can contain the appropriateness of the information that should be used. Again, different grades across.
Today, I think schools should integrate information literacy as a whole new curriculum as in such. Why? Because I'm not observing this with especially school students itself. I saw this happening in even teachers groups, principal groups also. People often randomly forward some messages that they found in internet because they pick it up
Nobody
either from
has checked
YouTube
it.
or Instagram and all. They can't even verify that's a rightful source or it's from a rightful medium or not. Especially when this is happening in a hierarchy like this, think about the students. They are getting influenced day by day with all these reels, so-called information that is being circulated. So there is no proper, authentic way to identify the rightful source or medium at a tender age. I think today some countries have stopped even using social media. If you are not a graduate, you can't comment on certain things. I think countries started doing that. I think from our country perspective also, we should also think about giving students a basic information literacy, what kind of information they need to get from internet or what kind of sources they need to follow to get the right information from. Because we can't restrict them from using these sources. Because maybe I can ask some basic question like, how many of you know how many AI tools are there? Especially approximate number.
Number we don't know.
The very
Just guess.
500
More are
are the
getting
ones
added
which are
as we speak.
actually in use by
500.
the education community. I'm talking about the
500.
educators community.
Educated community.
500 tools.
If you take out your smartphone, just type, there is an AI for that. Just type this word, you'll get a first link. There are more than 40,000 AI tools.
Yeah.
And you just open that website, you can clearly understand what kind of domains are affected because of the impact of AI.
Yeah.
Today, when we are talking about this technology, integrating this technology, especially in learning system, one thing particularly stand out, especially in a teacher community or a principal community, is having a basic human intelligence to learn this or integrate this in the curriculum. Because today machines can't manufacture itself, machine can't transport itself or repair itself and all. It requires human interference. Whatever the technology that we are going to get in the future, it requires human intervention at some point of time. So especially in education, without this thing like teachers having AI, utilizing AI, if it's not there, they are going to struggle for sure in the near future because students are going to use it very heavily in the coming years. So I think teachers should start using this in a day-to-day in a classroom also. Start doing activities going forward using AI in classrooms. That will be the way forward, which I think.
Somewhere the sensitization that what
Yeah.
fakes and hallucination or any
Yeah.
thing produced
Deepfakes.
how it can affect a person. I think deep sensitization of
Yeah.
students.
Can I say something? Yes, as you rightly said, that it's very essential. It's not only who, but it is how we are going to educate our teachers as well as our students. The narrative around the AI is that AI is here for competition. I think the first thing that we need to get out of it, it is not competition, but it is complementing us also, not only the students, but us also, this complementation. So when we look at AI, it should not be AI is a replacement for something, but it is allowing us to reimagine our learning so that our achievements can reach a higher level of understanding. And when we say that how that aspect is very important, we need to, now this is an experiment which I tried out in the last 3 years when AI started taking a root, everywhere. And my school having first generation learners and most of them tribals, I felt all the more need because I felt that they are the ones who might get misdirected because at home they do not really have any support. So I started with the subject of media literacy. And I think that this subject of media literacy created a lot of impact. So we have a regular 2 periods per week for media literacy, which is there in the timetable. And here, what was utilized is, and what we follow is the DIVE model. We use the DIVE model where we again to developing their understanding about the content and the concept is something. Once they understand that, how they interpret it is what I stands for. So the interpretation of that DIVE model, and then comes the verification aspect of it, and finally leaving to each one because we believe that it's a people, person, and the situation that really results into the action that a person takes. So there we have given the evaluation aspect of it. So showing them movies. So it is not only showing them movies, but allowing them to have a conversation with the directors of the movies, with the actors and the script writers of the movies. So having different perspectives. And along with that, of course, for every movie we cannot get, but we have connected and collaborated with UNESCO. So we have taken SEMA Academy. SEMA Academy has a plethora of 252 movies right now. So you get those movies with you. No movie is more than 15 minutes. So in a class, so we have 2 periods put together. So in that one period, what happens is the children watch the movie and then there is a discussion also. But before watching the movie, there is also a worksheet given to them where we give them a synopsis, a kind of summary of that movie and their thoughts they put. They watch the movie. After that, there is something called as the SIP, where what I have seen, what has touched me, what I have felt about it. The F stands for. The I stands for that what I think I should include in myself. And then T, that what do I think are my takeaways from here. So this is a simple way what we do it. Along with this, what has really helped is that we then tell them facts, fiction, opinion. Understanding these 3 things, the fact, the fiction, and the opinion. I think this is really helping them to understand AI better. They are understanding the usage, and along with them, the teachers also are moving ahead. There is also one part which we focus on, and that is ethical architecture, what we call ethical architecture. Now, when we talk of ethical architecture, our scientist Mungekar has very rightly spoken about ethical architecture, where he says that when we talk, you have to look at the tie of it. The tie is the transparency. So there needs to be, when we are utilizing AI, we have to be transparent with ourselves and with our students. Both the aspects of it need to be taken care of. The second part, which is we also need to see the accountability. So a child using an AI also, I think they are more required more to look into the research aspect of it because they have to verify it further. So inclusivity is one aspect that we have seen to it, that how are you going to apply the inclusivity aspect to what you're seeing. And then finally, what we have seen is that there is a lot of empathy. So whatever they watch, when everything, when we have media as a subject, these things have become more easy. I, as an habit assessor, when I go to schools, I see that there are rooms where you have, I say, oh, what is this? This is our drone room. This is our robotic room. This is our AI room. This is our computer lab. You know, everything compartmentalized is what I see. I think we should not put our children in the center, making machine in the classrooms, becoming machine centered, you know. But I think having a dialogue between the humans and the machines is something that we need to train them up for. And when this dialogue becomes concrete, I think automatically critical thinking, creativity, all these aspects what we are looking on, and then the transformation of information, what we are really looking at happens, and the children realize that this is not competing with us, it is complementing. The teachers also understand that. So you know, the AI for me, I think when we talk about the how, the truth learning, it is teachers in AI are there to provide experiences. They are there to provide experiences to their learners. Learners are there to explore the AI. And I think AI is the beautiful compass which allows them to navigate through the wonderful landscape of knowledge and then reach out to whatever is needed. Because we talk of multiple intelligence, we talk of differentiated learning. So every child is different, every child is unique. Then every child should get an opportunity to decide what he or she wants to learn. And that learning can happen when this landscape is offered. So in my opinion, when we talk about this truth, that who is learning, for whom it is, and how it is, I think each one of us, whether it be the teacher, the student, or even when we look at the parent, I think we all need to look at it with open eyes. We all need to realize that we need to combine the machine system, the artificial intelligence, along with the human talent. And I think then things will fall in place. And then we don't have to think who is, because that ownership aspect comes in then. Then the account, when we talk of accountability, then everyone becomes the owner of that. And everyone is able to take AI ahead. This is my
schools making their policies
Yeah.
for use protocols
Thank you.
would be what is required, you know, how much is going to be allowed to be used, what are they going to
Exactly.
accept, and what is going to happen as maybe a penalty if there is a misuse of AI.
So if you consider, no school is really making something, you
Yes.
bring it by your own and teachers will understand. Because we have a supervision channel, every school will have the supervision channel too, you have to get this and use it. If in that scenario, if you consider, the major thing is human judgment with the machine intelligence. This is what we are supposed to identify now. Now, if a child want to get something, machine will generate. Whether it is correct or not, who will judge? Who is the source of trust?
That's what I'm saying.
That is the teacher.
data. Where is that data coming from? I don't know how many of you have seen the movie Human Loop. Have you seen that? There's a episode. There is a instant in which, so this is a tribal. It's based on a tribal woman who is feeding in inputs, giving in inputs. Some international company has given them a project, so they have to tag different elements for AI thing. Now, one particular insect, she was told to tag as a, she tags it as a insect, while her supervisor later tells her that why have you tagged it as an insect? This is told by the company that it should be tagged as a pest. She tells them back that this is not a pest, this is good for the plant. And then she explains how this is good for a plant. And she was further told, don't apply your brain. Do what you're told by the company that has given us this project. And that for me is the data veracity.
Yeah.
How correct is the data from where the information is being extracted? Has the input been correct?
So
you were
prompts are
talking,
something
right,
that matter.
Prompts matter, not just the prompts.
The
So
questioning,
what you
yes.
said,
The
policies of what can be used, what cannot be used, no.
Again,
Use
the context.
everything.
The context.
We
For the
cannot limit today's children to use
Yeah.
this and not to use this. The moment you say not to use this,
There you
trust
are,
me, you will.
yes.
So you say you're a rebel, I was one of those
It's not to use or not, but where and how much is to be used will happen.
You cannot. You
Because
cannot
where
put
are you
boundaries
going
on
to?
today's
We
children.
are see when till the time, especially for the CBSE schools I'm talking about, your examination is till the time it is theoretical, you know, and till the time you know you are having your vivas and everything going on. Why most of the schools, even in the other countries, are opting out to assessment techniques like viva, oral questioning, talk, is because they don't want the AI element in the assessment. Because if a person or a child is speaking from the point of view and being backed by assessment, then where is the proper judgment of his competencies? So that is one thing which the schools
So
will
it's
have
not
to
about
limit
use, that's the
somewhere.
saying, and I think that's the point. How is it being used is
Yes,
something
that
we
is
can
very
control. But what
when
to
we
use and
talk
what
about,
not to use.
Consider,
How
I
much?
can
The word
say
is how
AI
much
is a
to
living
use.
organism.
Yes, you have to take it.
Ma'am, when we
Because
talk about this
at 3 o'clock,
restrictions,
yes.
restriction or restricted usage,
It is not.
especially country like India, it's not possible
not
because
possible.
When we step into
Literally,
this room,
uh,
from there
No,
to now,
it is like
there
how
are
much
many
you
AI
going to
updated.
accept.
The
Yeah.
next versions we got it.
Like for example, a policy that we will accept your answer. We know all is going to be plagiarized only with if it is having three verifications. You verified from 3 sources. That is what I am trying to say. Is we can how we are going to take the information which is given to us. We are also not sure. And whatever systems we may get software, they are always going to outplay. You will not be able to make whether it is AI written or it is their written.
Yeah.
So schools will have to make something like this, that at least it should be having 3 or 4 verifications. You verified the content which you're giving in, which
I
can
think
be
you're trying
changed.
to textbook it a lot. What I think is, look, we know for a fact our children are giving prompts and generating, whether they are essays, they are completing their homeworks, assignments, everything is coming.
I'd like to
Yeah.
add to that, ma'am. We
But-
actually ran this experiment at school where I gave my 6th graders, the entire 6th, had to interview a family member, record it, and then transcribe it and report it. All of them came back within 24 hours with their transcribed reports because there was absolutely nothing they did.
Correct.
The questions were generated by AI. They asked their parents. Everything was recorded on the phone. There's no intervention, and then they fed that. It is automatically looped into ChatGPT, and there's one prompt given saying transcribe this, and it did it. And all of them, the whole of 6th grade, felt like they were the deal. They've done it. They've aced it. So we said, okay, fine, done. Now, one principal and one student are going to interview each other. The rest of you transcribe it, no AI in classroom. Not one child could do it. The reason I'm bringing this up is because we were the generation that grew up without AI, which means we still had skills that we apply to AI right now to get the results that we want. We know how to transcribe it, so we knew that if they did this within 24 hours, it was AI generated, right? Now, we are raising a generation that doesn't come with that skill. They don't know what transcription is, and they're, heavily dependent on ChatGPT or any of the AI tools to do it. So where is the skill going? So if you're raising a generation that doesn't know how to do it themselves, then your AI is becoming a walking stick. It's not a
It
shoe.
depends on the teacher also. I'll give you one
I
more
agree, sir.
example.
I also
One more
agree.
example
Yeah,
or a worksheet that we used AI in schools in a way. Like I showed them a nice scenery. Nice scenery I showed them. You write a prompt. It's a written prompt. I will just type the exact prompt in the ChatGPT. Whoever comes close to that scenery, I'll give them a prize. I am damn sure even they copy the same prompt from each other and
Yeah.
paste it, it won't generate the same image.
Agreed.
So there are examples that there are which we can take in using AI also. It helps us.
Absolutely.
It's how you give prompt and
Uh,
question. Keep on questioning.
No,
it to
and
get
not only
accurate.
that, but I
So
also
the
feel
prompts are
that,
very, very important.
as we said, that AI is here for keeps, and with our vast population and everything, we just can't stop our children. So we have to amalgamate our teaching in such a way that as we are training them for AI, and as without our training also they are using it, we also have the 21st century skills happening, simultaneously. So that somewhere we have an opportunity to connect with them and to tell them how and make them think how they can be rational thinkers, how they can be good decision makers, how they can negotiate, how they can be more creative and imaginative.
Absolutely.
So this has to happen simultaneously. So just let us not depend only on teaching AI or drones or robotics, but focusing more on this. And as I said, that been working with the tribal students, my experience has been very beautiful. There was just, as we have this high-tech city over here, we have one in Goregaon, where we have this center, and there are domes of such kind. So there was one dome which was meant for drone exhibition. So my children were asking me, what is drone exhibition? And I said, yeah, drones are used today in so many places. And they said, we would like to learn. I said, it is meant for adults, They said, we don't mind. There are 3 months now, we will learn to do. And we take help of AI, whatever way. They started creating. And by the end of 3 months, they could create 4 drones, And they had the courage to go to the exhibition, be with those people over there and get a stall over there. But that is how they learned. Because they were learning the life skills, they could apply that AI knowledge more effectively because they understood they have to research. They just can't give prompts and go on doing. So I think we as educators, then when we talk about taking the onus and whose onus it is, I think we have to give them the support systems of life skills, of media literacy, of financial literacy. All this, when we give them these support, these kind of support, automatically their AI intervention which we are providing them, that gets more strengthened because it is here for keeps. But then the only thing that when we can't win them, we have to join them.
Yes,
So joining them in the best
absolutely.
possible way is something that I feel.
Ma'am, I would like to add, very beautifully told, ma'am. I know artificial intelligence is again created by humans.
Yeah,
only.
correct.
So it was information scarcity to abundance now. There is no limit for anybody. So everybody is surfing everywhere.
That is
and
more
trying to
chaotic.
get, and we are all very scared. What is the outcome? So we want to keep our learners engaged. That is very, very important for us. So I feel the trust, how much we are expecting from a teacher. At home also it should be balanced. So parents also need to be involved in this. So
A tripod.
Otherwise it becomes what we teach, what we tell them not to do, they go home and do those things and nobody watching them, then it becomes a problem. If we are not on the same page, it is absolutely difficult for all of us to take it forward also. They will learn, unlearn, and then again, by the time the teacher has to groom, it will be a Herculean task for the teacher also. So I think parents also need to be equally responsible and educated in the AI world.
Absolutely. And I think to the
all
list
this,
of,
But
I'd
again,
like to.
what percentage of parents?
May I? Ma'am?
Yeah, please.
Please. Okay, all of you have said.
No, they are not supporting in your current school activity. As a student, we are
Sir,
thinking
it
that-
is a beginning. For us, everywhere, somewhere we have
Yeah.
to make a start.
Yeah. No, whoever can do that, I think, no, they can offer support.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think that would be told. We are all teachers here, and I think the first thing we do is to teach a concept, right? Unless you lay the concept, AI will come later. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I think what's very, very essential here, which we all are missing, is integrity. Whether it's the teacher or the student, I have a question for many educators. We're all saying, throwing all these words here, which is great on the table. On ground, what's happening? Are your teachers ethical? I beg to disagree. Okay?
No.
Are your parents
We all
ethical?
agree.
No, sir, that's
We all
yes.
agree with you.
No, I meant to, no, you didn't get my point. Okay, sorry. Right, so what happens, I think the first thing is how do you build those values in kids, right? Once that happens, I think what is an outcome is that a child does think 10 times before they go into something wrong. They do. And this is something I can vouch for at future kids, right? Let's say somebody's gone to a chat GPT, you ask them, yeah, I mean, teachers know, so they have already checked and says, kya kiya? Auntie, I use chat GPT. Okay, so great, this is great, this is here. Now do you do the project again. So what happens when the concept is in, right? And what we do to the lower grades, somebody talked about grade 5 children. So what we do there is we suggest a few places that you can go to, which we know are safe. Like parents do ask us, it's not safe to go into, the child can navigate anywhere. So how do you curtail that? So we make sure that we give a few suggestions. What tends to happen today, the real reality of life is both parents are working and all of them are not present when the child is at home. That is the reality of our lives, of teachers too. So the question is, how do we, the only way out, sir, is I believe, is how do you bring in ethics into them? Like ma'am talked about teaching them ethics as a part of their curriculum. For me, personally, and for future kids, ethics is a part of your being, right? And it has to come in. It has to come in organically. Your environment should make sure you're inculcating that. And I believe, because we are not, like you just said, it's here to stay. And it's only going to get bigger. It's not going to get smaller by any chance. So, and I also believe it's not just us educators talking here. I think the government needs to pitch in. There needs to be a lot of policy changes that need to come in. There need to be a lot of checks and balances, because these are being done in Europe and in the US. If they can do it, and we're talking so much about AI in our country, I mean, I meet enough parents who are into AI, and I tell them, why are you trying to do something about this? Who is making the checking here? The checks and balances is the most important thing. So like you said, ma'am, media education makes a lot of sense, because you at least tell them, boss, you should be able to carefully figure whether you're in the right place.
Yeah.
One, and two, at our school, we try and do most projects at school.
Yeah.
They're all hands-on.
Yeah, hands-on.
The minute they are hands-on, you are forcing the child to think. There was a question about who's going to take the learning forward. I think the kids will take the learning forward.
Yeah.
They are going to take the same concept and build over it. So you have to make sure that you're giving them, like she said, the tools to learn. Tools to learn is not AI, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
They are
disagree.
empathy, and they are all.
There are so many other ways, and
Yes,
that's important.
I
And depending on what kind of a learner you are, you automatically teach them. For example, writing a board exam, a child says, Auntie, somebody reads out to me, I learn better. So it's not AI going to do that. So I tell them, you know what, read aloud, record your own voice, play it back. So you give them solutions which are doable.
Do it.
Yes, right.
Not
And it
not
helps.
those which are going to be dependent on a machine.
But still-
Machine is a tool, it can help you to some extent. It cannot be there, it can't take you over.
Yes,
Can't
but the
replace
era
it.
is
Ma'am, excuse me, I
welcoming.
think we are just going around and around. Let us finish or
Yes,
take
let
a
us
point
take
by
the
point.
point
Yes,
by
like all of us agree, whatever points you said, it's all well said, like, agreeable. And so let us find out now what is that ultimately we understood that we cannot stop them or give them, boundaries, set boundaries for all these things. So we must put systems in place, like we must set new standards. So how to make them use AI very responsibly and
Yeah.
ethically.
So one is
So
teaching
teaching
the
take up that
literacy.
is one of the
Yeah.
first things
Yes.
like
Yes. So ma'am, one as you said, we need to teach them. So what comes to mind is telling them what is AI literacy. You're teaching them about AI literacy.
Yeah, we'll just pen down
Yes.
our thoughts probably for us to present.
Yeah.
So how are we going to set new standards to make our children for responsible use of AI?
Yeah. So I think also.
AI literacy,
Yeah.
one.
Skills,
and what I mean by
from
AI
information
literacy,
literacy, media literacy,
and
and
above all,
AI literacy.
skills.
I think we all
focus on
need to look
skills.
at our timetables. We are
Yes.
still using the redundant timetable of 7 periods of English, 5 periods for science. We should first come out of that and then
right,
introduce
mindset change for our
for our own self.
So
So
when we talk about new standards for responsible use of
I think,
AI,
ma'am, we should add, along with information literacy and media literacy, we have to add epistemic fitness to it.
yeah, that is also.
It is extremely important because there are frameworks there. I think the recent one that has been released is called SIFT, which says stop, investigate, fact check, and create transparency in it.
Yeah.
I
Right?
think ma'am mentioned it.
And
Yes. So that's the framework that's already out.
it is already out.
Yeah. But epistemic fitness itself is a skill where if you, like I said, if you tell a child to go and transcribe, they're going to use it. But if you give them 10 transcribed scripts and say poke holes into it,
Yeah.
they're going to use the framework to poke holes into it. So they
first
learn
we'll
the
start
skill.
with the information literacy, ma'am.
And then media literacy.
We just list it out, First one is information literacy,
AI literacy,
AI literacy. Then we'll go to media
media
literacy.
literacy, and AI literacy. These are the essentials,
And
which should be added to essentials.
And when we are utilizing AI, and then we should give them opportunities, because we don't give them opportunities to use AI, they will use it, ChatGPT, for doing their homework, for completing their work. But we need to go beyond that. So one simple thing that I have done is last 2 years is, as we have media literacy, we also have 2 periods of astronomy per week. And in this astronomy is totally hands-on, as you were saying, we need to give hands-on experience. So my children have created their rockets also, and they have made satellites. So all these things are automatically giving them an opportunity where to use AI. So their instinct to do it only for homework and all this definitely curbed, and they utilize it more for
Some
something.
as
what
one
you
part of
said,
AI literacy, what I
Homework
noted
lost
that
its sense, I think. Now it's no homework.
No homework.
No,
No,
if you
just
give
give them
homework,
something
people are
actually
just
to work.
So,
doing it with
ma'am,
the help of
that's
AI.
what the very
it is only projects, I
concept
think,
of
of
knowledge,
knowledge.
academic
Yeah.
training,
That
academic
has to
knowledge is devalued.
Yes.
Because it's not the product of your, it's not the cognitive thing which comes into play. So it's almost the technical skills only, like we
The
are not talking
eradication
about
of
the
basic skills happened, ma'am, with the help of, I don't know, because of AI. Some core skills
No,
like
but the-
problem
but that's
solving.
where the fact
not because
remains.
of AI. The
No, but
skills
then
have
we-
been valued.
We're not going to
Skills have
do
been
away with
decreasing
certain things
even when
which
AI
helps them
had
develop
developed.
those skills.
Yes.
There has been a
Right,
complete
so it's
generation
not
which is
that
blaming
we
AI.
are wearing those blinders and just following. It's always an amalgamation of 10 different things that we need to do here. And I think what you mentioned about telling them, okay, these are the 5 resources, AI resources that you can use.
Yeah.
This is what you will get.
Citations,
Transparency,
yes.
what I
That's
spoke about.
exactly.
Okay, give them an opportunity.
So
Throw
the
it out.
teacher has already done her enough homework on the what's available through AI, on the assignment, on whatever she is giving it to the student. This is what you will get. This is not what I want. I want you to move further than this.
And also, ma'am, if
So
children
let it be very open. Yes, it is available on AI. You will get what you want.
We spoke about information literacy, media literacy, AI literacy, and as man said, like epistemic
Fitness.
The last one is going
I think
to be
transparency and
which is a very, very new one and
Ma'am,
very
there was
we
recent
start
one.
with the teachers first, like what teachers should do, then we should talk about children. Like,
yeah, we can.
I think it should
Ma'am,
be a
teachers, I think-
framework, ma'am. We can't move away from AI.
Yes.
And like ma'am had very rightly put in, ethical well-being is the basis of all of that. If ethical well-being isn't there, we're not going to be able to move forward with AI or any other technology, right? So we'll have to start with ethical well-being and then move to digital well-being and then move into information and media literacy and then bring in epistemic fitness.
If you
All of
consider
that.
I'm a new budding school, I feel like I'm going to be a last at the end. I'm not going to do that because my parents are coming and asking to start AI immediately. So there is a systematic approach which is supposed to go along with each and every subject. It should not be a separate entity.
Yeah, definitely.
If you consider trust literacy, which we have derived for all the teachers, please teach anything of AI tool by making the children, whether it is correct or not, give that kind of literacy to the students. Verify, cross-verify and check it, define and redefine and recreate it. This is what a student is supposed to get it from the teacher side.
So previously it was like what you said, seeing is belief. What you see, you
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
But with deep fakes and all,
Yeah.
unless you validate, don't
Exactly.
believe.
You have to
to be
validate
taught
it.
that
So
you validate to
validate
believe.
everything.
Don't see and
Trust
believe.
literacy, you also will have. Whether this lady is talking about trust literacy, is it correct or not? Again, you're depending on the ChatGPT or any kind of AI. So that trust
Yeah.
literacy, we are supposed to bring it.
So ma'am, what I
School
personally
ecosystem.
feel,
yeah, from there,
Yes.
like I think we spoke about the new standards for the responsible use of AI. Let us talk about the new standards for truth and verification. So what is to be done? Like, shall we?
yes, ma'am.
just
I think
The role
all
goes to the
information
teacher.
which is collected, which is given, should be verified from 3 sides.
You are giving
Three
that
citations.
responsibility to the teacher. He will have to introduce.
No,
you.
no, the student also will give
Yes.
whatever he gives,
Guidance,
his research.
verification, and then no
Yeah.
training has to go from teacher.
The teachers will train, these are the, as ma'am had said, these are the sites or these are the citations
Yeah.
which can look
First,
for.
they need to see what is
And
important
whatever
for the
ma'am
student, how he
information they
cannot
give
go out
through
of it.
research, it has to be validated, has
Yeah.
to be checked at least 3
See,
times.
one
I
thing
what is
just
right.
got few points on this, ma'am, like regarding standards for truth and verification, because I had happened to discuss with a few other people. Like, so we just arrived at a few points there this morning. Like they told about they spoke about verification literacy.
Yes, that is
So they mentioned that students must be trained in advanced verification techniques.
That was the SIFT system.
That is
That is the
SIFT.
That's the SIFT. Yeah.
And the next one with the point which they brought out was it's about the source triangulation. They said that systematically cross-verifying information with multiple, reliable, varied, tested, and trusted sources outside of AI.
Three
That was the
sources.
second thing which they spoke about. And the
Triangle.
third one was all about the algorithmic awareness.
Yes.
Like understanding AI outputs are not inherently truthful and it is not trustworthy. And they also spoke about deep fake and synthetic
Yes.
media detection. So children must be able to taught all these things, learning to identify subtle indicators of fabricated content, which is fabricated content. Then they spoke about this epistemic agency, developing the individual capacity to critically access
Yes.
knowledge when traditional evidence is compromised, like asking who created the content, what is the underlying evidence for this.
Yes.
So that was spoken. And then it was about the attribution and disclosure. Students must transparently disclose when and how they used AI tools in their work.
The transparency and
That has to,
accountability has
this
to
was
be there.
spoken by a few people this morning with regard to the standards for.
Can we
truth and-
add one more point? to
Yeah,
that?
ma'am, please.
So this is just it's just a thought process, ma'am. It's like I'm thinking out loud. I've not processed this through my filters yet. I think when we give assignments, we've been doing the whole project work, create a poster, do a group discussion, create a model, and all of that for way too long. In my limited experience and opinion, I would like to add that if we are bringing in AI education into the space where children have to learn, it shouldn't be the use of it, but it should be the critical analysis of what AI can or can't do for you.
Yeah, you are very right. And here I was just thinking, as just now a thought occurred to my mind when we were talking about verification, when we say
Yes.
2 and 3 sources. There will be a time, and I will say rather the time is now, when even verification is going to be an issue.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
verification is the biggest issue that people are facing today. And hence, that last part of Guy, what I was saying is evaluating. Finally, you are your own
Your
judge,
inner.
you know, and you have to, your inner compass is something which is going to matter. And this inner compass needs to be strengthened if we really want them to verify things. And for that, if you take certain hate speeches, and nowadays, if you see every
Everyone is
party,
doing that.
so those hate speeches, if you take, and then how they are edited, you know, and presented as hate speeches was something that we showed it to the children. So they realize it. So I said, you won't be able to go and ask every time to that person who has spoken, was it, or whoever was present over there, has it said. As he said, we hear today on the television, we see some telephonic conversations going on. Now we really don't know, and there are no sources for verification for children as students. So I tell them in the last part of evaluation, then ask your inner commerce what is right, what is wrong, what we need to look at, and what should happen actually. Because you don't need an LLB degree to become a judge. You are the judge of your own opinion. So think about that whatever has happened, is it right or wrong, and whether such things should happen or not. And there is no need to always give your opinion about it on the social media or post anything.
Absolutely.
You have to understand for yourself whether this is right or wrong. Verification is happening or not happening is the second thing, but evaluate for yourself. Ask your inner compass. Is it as per the values, the culture, the nature, and then take a move ahead with it.
And we don't control for now, for
Yeah.
sure.
So we
But
can't
never
do
mind,
it.
yeah, we should do it, but
Take them to discern.
Absolutely.
I think that's
Ma'am, we were talking about other things like this regarding this truth and verification. Ma'am was talking about the integrity. Like, I think when we talk about academic integrity, like what new standards could be set for academic integrity. So I think we thought we'll focus on 3 main areas under this academic integrity. Like we felt that it was one, we need to set up the policy and the pedagogy, and the technical verification has to be done, and then recentering the human skills, like how it could be. So we thought like we will bring down that as well. Like,
Ma'am, as you mentioned policy, sorry for interrupting, there is a huge gap in policy making is happening, which people are not observing, especially in terms of AI usage in schools. if at all it's not addressed in the next 5 years,
It will lead to a
this
big
this digital divide will become a learning divide. Okay, and already there are schools who are implementing it. That's fine. Already there are schools who doesn't even know what is AI. So this digital divide, if there is no policy implemented by government side or schools pressurize government to implement a policy of usage of AI properly, because CBSEs started doing it, but up to an extent it's not that much fruitful. But this will become a huge learning divide as how some premium schools are getting into premier schools. This will become how premier schools are learning are getting premier information from premium sources. This will happen for sure in the next 5, 10 years. So it will become a very big issue in our country.
And it's also very important to kind of look inward, ma'am, and to see what is the research that's out there. Because I think all the European nations that adopted technology very early on are now going back on it. They're saying don't give technology
So
to
when
kids.
to start?
When do we start? Should we start? And if we start, what is the game plan for it? I think that's very, very important.
Many countries who started social media
Yes.
have banned social
Then-
media.
Yeah.
This side will not.
The age group
If you
also
take
plays-
what is happening
Sweden,
around
they
us.
were the country that adopted
And they spend
technology, millions on
Millions.
it. And they came out
Correct.
publicly and said,
And they're
sorry,
giving
we're
20 million
wrong.
to take it out.
We messed
Yeah,
up.
see, they had the courage to do that.
Yes.
Do we have that courage?
Yeah, that's right.
The family dynamics
spoke
also
about
has
this,
changed.
setting standards for truth and verification. We spoke about for students. I think for teachers, I think, as ma'am was saying, like rightly, I think it was given under the name as model transparency. Like teachers must also disclose when they use AI for anything, like lesson planning or preparing the text or image or audio. Like that kind of a model transparency has to come from teachers. So that is one thing was told. And we need to focus on the process rather than the product. Like, so we should encourage the teacher or the instructor must come up with design and a task, like, wherein, like, we be involving, as ma'am was saying, like CBSE is giving like Viva and, projects, hands-on, like, so I think that is most important, whereas the entire process should be judged rather than the final papers. Like, we should give our equal importance for the various process which they undergo. So ma'am was talking about critical thinking, like, but all of these things we are talking, but how are we going to bring it into the system, like, so that how that critical thinking could be used and the various higher order thinking. So the end product, like what we get, must be out of the cognitive labor of the child. So, like, I think otherwise we will be challenging, or the very concept of academic knowledge is devalued. Like, if it is not going to be the child's own product, like the entire thing will, the whole purpose gets defeated. Like, the child will no more, because now they were talking about thinkers, leaders, innovators. See, people start using AI, like how long they can become, the thinking skills itself will get arrested.
Obsolete.
Yeah. So how are we going to infuse? So what kind of assessment or the policy or the pedagogy, like we should think of?
Pedagogy should be focused on skill development, ma'am.
Yes.
Skills have to focus on
Again, on the
skills.
skill development, we are talking in
and
terms of
value.
first comes when we talk about the cognitive thing, ma'am.
Exactly.
It is again the thinking skills.
Exactly, ma'am. Right, ma'am. That's what I
Maybe
meant.
other thinking skills we can bring in the soft skills, maybe language, communication, like.
I
think
also
those things.
I
I
think the
also
entire
feel that
framework itself
if we
needs to
develop
cater to
collaboration,
it. Yes.
collaboration, if the attitude of collaboration is taken ahead, a lot of difference happens. And this collaboration can be done with the help of, technology. It's not necessary that you need to collaborate, you need to have exchange of students physically. It may not be possible. But what I tried out, just because our children need to understand what is happening in the other part of the world. So it is not only just the different states of India. So we connected with different states of India, but at the same time, we connected with 8 different countries of the world. So our every standard has one partner country. And I think that has made them really realize. So there was the talk about AI happening, how you all use it, how we use it, right from how we use water till how we use AI. Everything is discussed. Every month the topic keeps on changing. So that collaboration has really helped children, and I think everyone
That's
should
the
do it.
roadmap to make our citizens as global citizens.
Yeah.
I think
there's no point.
I think
But that
way
has to
back
happen.
in
This works
2019, when the Global Economic Forum, the World Economic Forum came up with the 5 Cs
Yeah.
of 21st century. That time itself, the one of the C is collaboration.
Collaboration. But
And
we have to
character
constantly
building,
see that
that's
it
what you've been
happens.
saying, is again one of the Cs.
It has to keep on happening. That is very important. Not leave it.
What should be in the policy? So AI transparency for students.
Yeah.
What declaration, what they have to declare. AI ethics. What are the consequences? What can happen? What can happen if it is misused?
And it should
Boundaries. What are your
learning
boundaries?
process.
There are boundaries in physical
Yeah.
spaces. There are boundaries in your AI spaces also.
And
which you can
teenagers
cross.
really use
So the
it.
AI boundaries to be looked at. AI responsibility as a digital citizenship,
You mean
everyone talked
regulations.
about.
Yeah.
And the collaboration, which ma'am has talked about, AI collaboration. The policies can be built around these 4-5 major.
And we have
pivotal
seen
points.
teachers generate some beautiful lesson plans
Yeah, they
using
do.
the
And way
AI
better
tools.
And
I
that's
think
perfectly
it's
all right.
absolutely fine.
I tell them
Time-
use AI tools. I tell
Absolutely.
if your creativity is
Where
not
is the
working, use it.
problem in that?
And I don't trade.
Actually, our
From
mindsets
teachers.
need to change.
Absolutely.
So we need to have growth mindset.
I think it's important to remember, ma'am, that they all know how to create their own lesson plans.
Yeah.
Now they've established that. On top of that, they're enhancing with AI.
Enhancing.
I'm saying when we bring in AI into the classroom at a very young age, we're not establishing that skill.
No, but the point is not getting AI into the classroom, telling them that yes, AI is all right, but first this,
Yes.
and then you move on to
So,
this.
AI is just there.
Yeah.
It's
So I
there.
will simply
So
say,
let's not put blindfolds and say no
No,
AI,
no.
nothing, you
Let's
can't
not
do
make
it.
AI
Stand
thing.
alone.
and if
Yeah.
you don't want
AI should
AI,
be your a tool.
a
It's not the
partner,
king.
your
Yeah.
partner, it should be partner, and that is why if you don't want AI to exploit you, then empower yourself with AI.
I
That
don't know about the
exploitation and
rest of
empowerment is something which teachers need to understand, and as heads we need to understand. जहाँ हम बोलते रहते क्यों तुमने AI use किया, मत करो.
No.
Let us have that growth
Ma'am,
mindset.
I've stopped receiving resignations which say, I'm sorry, I have this problem, I'm going. They're all like one pagers drafted with ChatGPT. I'm like, at least come and talk to me before you send me that.
And
Issue,
Resignation.
if there's any issue for any particular thing, and the last line I know is thank you for understanding, without even knowing whether you understood the
No,
issue or not.
And most of the teachers are getting like, are we going to replace by AI?
Exactly.
No, they are repositioning by AI.
Yeah.
That's what we are supposed to give trust to the teachers, so that teachers will give trust to the students.
Yes.
This is what we are
Yeah.
supposed to
Allow them
evaluate.
AI is for reimagining our
enhance,
achievements
yeah.
and
Just to
enhancing our
enhance
achievements.
the
Maybe
learning
two more things you can
process.
add into the policy, like what ma'am suggested is awareness of all the stakeholders is very crucial. Because as a leader who is sitting here, parents and students, this is a key thing because they should know the benefits and risks of using AI clearly. And the second thing might be, as ma'am told, today it's not AI versus HI, AI
Yeah.
versus
No,
human intellect.
it's
It's AI and
Blended.
human intellect.
It's a blended.
blended
It should be
thing that should
It's a
happen.
hybrid
Blending of
model.
both the things.
It's a
Yeah.
hybrid model. And
With the
mainly
intervention of the human.
the traditional assessments should go away. I think some schools started implementing
Yes.
because the assessments, whatever we are doing, it's not
Cram,
appropriately what we have been following is currently getting out the most knowledge or what they have learned from the students for the past 1 year. It's just a one single paper, question and paper. I'll give a small example. As a university perspective, we are teaching AI and data science course for BTech students. There is no written exam for these students. It's all project based. Every 15-20 days, there is a project. They need to present 2-3 students a group, and that's a mark given to the project. They are presenting it, they are developing something and presenting it. It's a AI and data science, of course, curriculum that we follow. There is no written exam for these students, AI and data science students that are studying in a university. So, if take a school, for example, what happens if still we are conducting this pen and paper exams at the end of the day. So that
So where is the
might not help.
choice? You have board exam, right? You have to write that. You have to
That's
prepare
what
for
I
that.
said.
At the end,
I wish we had a choice there.
I have a small suggestion. As far as I'm talking about science and maths, school ecosystem I have taken. Current knowledge is very much sufficient, even without AI
I
also,
agree.
the current knowledge is sufficient to make the student understand strongly in concept. AI will not contribute to conceptual additionality, but it can create misconceptions.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Sometimes, yeah.
100%.
Most of the time,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
cognitive
Most of the
behavior
time,
teachers
yeah.
should go and teach, right?
AI support can be taken where you are making the student stronger in concepts for the assignments, projects, and then related work. AI support can be taken to create such kind of a work to out of the classroom. Student can experiment, the student can attempt such kind of assignments so that his concept understanding would be much stronger.
I think AI basically would augment learning. That's what it would
Yeah,
do. It would augment.
It does, certainly.
For sure does.
Yeah.
No, we were talking about epistemic fitness. Like, what is this epistemic breach? Like, down the years we've been talking about seeing is believing. See, that was there. Like, now that is no more the truth because of this AI hallucinations
can't
You can say
and
anything,
deep
everything.
fact. Like fakes, now where what happened to that maxim? Like that seeing is believing.
Most
So
deepfakes
I
are-
think we need to come up with another maxim.
believing.
Right? Seeing is believing.
I'm doing and believing. Doing, believing, and
Evaluations.
learning. Yeah. It's more about doing.
Doing
And
and
not
verifying.
No,
Yeah,
because
very
most,
fine.
Unless you
most
validate
deepfake
your
person in the
information,
world
it is
is
of
Donald
no
Trump.
Validation is it?
We may get soon we may get a
Validate.
certification for validation also. How to validate.
But see, the
Yeah,
That
I think
is
next
true.
point
That's what
I think
finally
we should
validate
talk
the inner
about this.
compass.
Exactly.
we are building values.
Yeah, next point I think we should talk about is that we need some kind of a technical verifications that we were talking when we were talking about the responsible use of AI. We need to settle some of the technical methods wherein this AI could be we can make the children make the responsible users of AI. So, when I learned, because, I came to know that, they were talking about digital watermarking of this,
Yeah.
and this, they were talking about disclosure, that this content is being extracted from this model and this version. So, that kind of a disclosure could be given there. And they were also talking about something like this blockchain, using this blockchain, this cryptographic standards to be established. So, what kind of technical thing, if that is there, I think then it should necessarily have that labeling. So, if that is there, that has to be there. Whoever this AI developers, role of this AI developers, the futurists, they have to
adhere.
come up with this kind of that has to be there in place. Before they do
That
this. I think.
watermarking is the right word. So wherever watermarking is done, that is a verified content.
Correct.
Like most of the places where you give your research papers and all, you've been appearing in, it allows around 30 to 40% or some percentages, like this
Correct,
much of AI written.
It's allowed, yeah.
Research is allowed.
You don't
Ma'am,
believe
should
one of
we-
our PhD students submitted whole thesis generated by ChatGPT.
Sir, Deloitte submitted a research had to play with billions in lawsuits.
Yeah, millions in
I
lawsuits.
was about to say in my
Then
days,
the ma'am said that the
plagiarism-
ones who are doing it, they need to be ethical. And
Yeah.
if you cross all limits of
Deloitte was
values,
sad.
then of course everything is,
Plagiarism.
then so everything is possible.
It's hard to
Whether
identify.
everyone, I
Yeah, in our
understand.
time, plagiarism now is not encouraged.
Now
but
it is
it was
not.
punished.
Ah.
Now you never know.
Now it
Where
is 30 to
from-
40% different sides.
Ma'am,
allowed.
I want to share one thing. In this world, we are talking so much about the teacher, AI, everything. There are people who are into technology who are bringing concepts like answer paper can be corrected by a machine.
Yeah.
And every day in and out, somebody are coming and selling trying to sell their project. And then I took this experiment and I conducted the experiment. I said, okay, my teachers will correct, let the AI correct. So both of them, there was a mismatch.
Of course, there will be. There will be.
The AI went wrong because that human element was missing, and this answer can also be written like this, only the teacher could do that.
AI
So
is a
that is
straight
what
jacket
is
in
the
that's
our
because
thinking.
that's what that's gone into factual content.
What AI is generating is a factual content. Like you cannot take it up. It's not subjective, no, ma'am. Like it's even right, it's subjective. When the teachers do the correction, that is also highly subjective.
Can't replace any human action.
Also rapidly trained, ma'am. What we need to understand is today's AI won't be there 6 months down the lane.
By 6 months.
It's a better
Every
version.
3 minutes, the technology is changing. Every 3 minutes.
And that's the whole challenge of the
Every
schools now.
3 minutes a
We
new
are
technology
preparing
is
the
coming up.
children for the technology that is not
not
going to
exist.
exist.
Yes.
We do not know. So we are living this VUCA world, and everything is uncertain. No one knows where we are heading towards. So it's just completely volatile world. We have to make the children very resilient. What may come, they must be able. We need to give them the basic skills, thinking skills.
Only skills
They can take
right.
a
During
Skills
Operation
and,
Sindoor,
proper ethics.
What we saw.
during Operation
warfare.
Sindoor, ma'am,
AI warfare.
so many videos that were
Yeah.
all fake
What is true, what
Yeah.
is not.
from both sides.
What is
Children
right,
were
what
getting
is wrong.
agitated by it.
I think we have covered all angles of the issue.
Yeah. So how
we
we
are talking about
close
really
it, we say that the
Yeah,
stuff
she has sent a
in the
reminder. We have to wind up.
roundtable we discussed and we described and deliberations happened to define how to set new standards for responsible use of AI. We were talking about new standards for truth and verification,
Yes.
about new standards for technical standards. So these were the things which were discussed. So shall we wrap it up?
Yes,
I
yes.
think, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Everyone for a wonderful good learning.
Dear all, my humble pranams to everyone present here. On behalf of my team, Roundtable experts, Dr. Satyashri Gupta, Mr. Rajai Singh, Mrs. Shailaja, Mrs. Seema, Ms. Sinduri, Mrs. Lucky, Mrs. Varalakshmi, Mrs. Nidhi, Mrs. Anvika, and Dr. Priyadarshini Nayak, I would like to put forth our deliberations and the discussions and the definitions what we have come up with. I think at the outset, all of us would like to thank Mr. Brahmam and the team for giving us this wonderful opportunity to have these deliberations. So I would like to present the topic. The topic given to us was trust in the age of machine-generated knowledge. Who owns the truth in learning? So we all understand that the exponential rise of generative AI has fundamentally shifted the challenge in education and research. All of us know that the access to information is limitless and the crisis is epistemological. So all of us want to know, how do you know what is real, accurate, and trustworthy? So the roundtable went on to discuss and address the crisis of confidence. So you know that the traditional learning, the truth was anchored by peer review, canonical texts, and human expertise. With the rise of AI hallucinations, which is plausible and fixational content, and deep fakes, where synthetic media is indistinguishable from reality, the anchor is lost. So further, the discussion went on to define how and what new standards can replace it. I think first we started discussing about the new standards for responsible use of AI. We felt that the educator or the institution holds the epistemic responsibility to teach students how knowledge is produced, not just what the knowledge is. Institution must govern the use of AI systems to ensure compliance, safety, and fairness. Policy is a zero tolerance or blanket ban policy on generative AI tools in academia sustainable. defining responsible AI use. If we accept that AI will be integrated into learning, what are the non-negotiable guardrails? Technical, ethical, and legal must be implemented now to ensure these systems serve the public good and genuinely enhance rather than degrade the pursuit of truth. Then we all decided that we need to give children about the information literacy, media literacy, AI literacy, epistemic fitness, ethical well-being, cyber security, benefits and risks of using AI. Then we went on to discuss about the new standards for truth and verification. This is mainly for students. We found that verification literacy has to be there in place. Students must be trained in advanced verification techniques, source triangulation, systematically cross-referencing information with multiple, reliable, varied, tested, and trusted sources outside of AI, algorithmic awareness, understanding AI outputs are not inherently truthful or fruitful. Then deep fake and synthetic media detection, learning to identify subtle indicators of fabricated content, epistemic agency, developing the individual capacity to critically access knowledge when traditional evidence is compromised, asking who created the content, what is the underlying evidence. Attribution and disclosure, students must transparently disclose when and how they used AI tools in their work. For teachers, focus on process over product, design assignments and assessments that prioritize critical analysis, reasoning, problem solving, and demonstrating in class, Viva OCs, human proctoring assessments over the final text which can be generated by AI. Model transparency, teachers must disclose when they use AI to create teaching materials. Then the face-to-face component, students must be encouraged to read and attend the regular classes where they engage in discussions, participate in hands-on activities and experiments, project-based learning, service learning, crossover learning, kinesthetic learning, experiential and emotional learning. Then we started deliberating about the standards for the technical and the regulatory solutions. We found that mandatory labeling will be one of the transparency standards that should be set, and the regulatory bodies are proposing and implementing rules that require all AI-generated content, be it text, image, or audio, to be clearly and permanently labeled with metadata or digital watermarks. And we went on to talk about the AI detection software, that is the detection standards. The tools like Turnitin are evolving to identify the stylistic and the structural patterns of large language models. Then to talk about the ground truth data, that is the accuracy standards which has to be set, like the human labeled data used to train and test models. New standards are urging AI developers to prioritize verifiable ground truth to reduce hallucinations and improve model accuracy. I think finally, to sum up, we felt that in summary, the deep fake crisis demands that we move from our epistemological framework from I believe what I see to I believe I can verify through a trusted chain of custody. I think that was the conclusion. I would like to thank the entire team which contributed for all these definitions and words. I thank once again on behalf of my team, I would like to render my heartfelt gratitude to each and everyone and the organizers out there. Thank you.